Hey guys, Moose here. Welcome back to another episode of Life is Feudal Forest Village. I apologize if commentary today might be slightly on the sparse side. I've been really sick since... what day was it? Wednesday night, basically. I kind of felt like vaguely nauseous on Wednesday. Stream went fine. Actually, stream was great, even. I kind of enjoyed it, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But I was starting to feel kind of nauseous, and then as the day went on into the evening, oh, research finished, fantastic. I just felt horrible. Anyway, food production. Oh, I guess we have to go through all these. Let's do ore mining first, actually. Kind of surprised I'm able to... well, no, there it goes. So I'm kind of able to speak okay right now, but I kind of expected to get a really bad headache from this, and it's starting to get there. So I was kind of... Wednesday night kind of turned into fever and headache, and just kind of general exhaustion. I'm still exhausted, still... I don't know if I still have a fever. I could sort of feel like I maybe do, but definitely still have a headache. And I've been pretty much not recording, not doing much of anything all day today, just kind of sleeping the whole day. And kind of the headache sort of had just stopped mostly, unless I cough or something, and then it comes back big time. But now it's starting to come back more now that I'm talking and doing stuff. It's just unfortunate, but not surprising. So I apologize if it's going to be a little bit... I wouldn't necessarily say sparse, but you know. Commentary might be a little bit less active, just because I'm pretty much miserable from a physical standpoint right now. I've been avoiding speaking or doing much of anything all day. But it's funny because right before I got sick, it was a great week. I had the annual performance review happens kind of all, you know, it's a several month process in that, you know, you fill out your form and then give it to your manager, and your manager does stuff, and his manager does... everyone kind of looks at it, so it's not like it's a one-day thing, but I finally had, like, the final meeting about it for 2017, and it was pure positives. Like, you are supposed to put down what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Like, there's certain categories you say, am I good at this, or can I improve? I put a lot of things down. Not a lot of things. I had like 50-50 strength weakness over stuff. My manager agreed with all of my strengths and thought that two of the things that I thought were weaknesses were strengths. And I guess part of it is... like, one of them was... I'm surprised it takes so little water to put out the fire here. One of them was like time management. And I kind of see myself as having kind of bad time management, because there's a lot of times when I'm sending out emails at like 1 or 2 in the morning because I didn't want to do something during the day. Like, I got off work and I'm like, fuck that, I'm not doing any more work. I'm gonna wait until the absolute last second to get it done because I don't want to deal with it. It's stressful. And to me, that reflects poor time management, because if I had good time management, I would just get it done and be done with it. But he looked at it a different way and said, well, yeah, but you do absolutely everything on time, always, without exception. So he said, yeah, no, it's a strength. So, okay, you know, fair enough, I appreciate it. And there was a raise to go along with that. It was pretty much there was not a single thing that he was like, you need to be better about this or that. He really was positive. And I really appreciated that. I feel like to an extent that job is kind of thankless sometimes. And it's stressful. And There's a lot of stress that goes into it. Obviously, I think you guys know that about as well as anyone, given what I complain about in videos, so I'm not, you know, I don't think I'm surprising anyone here by saying that, but it's nice to kind of get recognition. So it was a really great week, right up until I got sick. So, but just the same, I've managed to get all my work done. This is the last thing I have to do today, so I'm glad I can just pass out for as long as I need to. I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I don't expect to go to work tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to be feeling better enough to do that. It was weird too, because I woke up like... I think this is part of it, and I forget what... I know that there's some kind of sickness or something that causes joint pain, but when I woke up, it was like... You ever have like a really bad pain like in your knees or elbows where it's like, it's kind of like tennis elbow, if you ever had that? And I get that where like, I like to sleep with my arm above my head, and that's really not good. That's like bad for you in a pretty big way, apparently. So I mess up my elbow a lot of the time, and I think somehow like I messed up my knees in the same way, and I didn't know that was a thing that I could do while sleeping, but I think it's just joint pain from the whatever sickness I have. What happened here? Why would it be distributed in that way? It's so strange. Oh, whatever. Anyway, it's good to spread out the woodcutters. That's fine. Speaking of wood... So yeah, stream on Wednesday was pretty nice. I enjoyed it. Played Astroneer. And I kind of have, you know, the last episode of Life is Feudal, I think lately... I don't think it's been unfounded, but I think recently I've been... Let me put it this way, I don't think this is necessarily fair to say, but I do think that it is a fair assessment if you're an outsider. You watch my videos over the last month or two. I don't think that I've been whiny, but I do think that it definitely could come off that way between basically shitting on Community Inc., which I think is justified, shitting on Planet Base a bit, which I also think is justified, and I backed it up with, you know, talking about why things are bad design decisions and such, but... You know, and then kind of complaining about YouTube changes and stuff. I definitely can see how it would come off as whiny. So, and that's not productive for anyone, really. So, I was kind of thinking about, okay, well, you can talk a big game about complaining and say, oh, it's so unfair, everything's unfair, but what are you going to do about it? So, I've been thinking about what to do and kind of how to keep going here. And there's a few things. So the first one is I am planning on taking one of the stream slots every week and doing something that's kind of like a paired Twitch YouTube thing. So for example, right now it's Wednesday, played Astroneer on Wednesday, so going forward I'm probably going to play Astroneer on Wednesdays. And I'm also probably going to put those VODs up on YouTube. And other VODs might find their way up there as well, but I don't necessarily have plans for that yet. The problem with it is there's some things that I can play on Twitch. I have much more freedom to play whatever I want on Twitch, because there's no bullshit where Nintendo's gonna copyright strike your channel because you dared to play one of their games. Or, you know, even Monster Hunter didn't allow monetization, which is not just as bad, but it's still frustrating and kind of annoying. So, whatever. But some stuff, like Astroneer, I'm sure is fine. So, games like that, if I play them on stream, are more likely to find their way onto YouTube. So that'll help kind of get a little more content rolling, because I know it's kind of light right now. I haven't had that much content recently. That, you know, you can blame me for that. There's reasons for it, and I think they're fair and good reasons, but it's still my fault. I also want to get back to having 3 series running, and I have a couple candidates for that. I just have to put the work in and get them going. I'm hoping that I can get better by this weekend. I'm really hoping that tomorrow, Friday, when this episode goes live, I'll be fine. But at this point, I don't necessarily feel like that's going to be the case. But I'd really like to be able to put some work in and do better here. And start getting everything rolling this weekend, but I don't know to what extent that's actually going to pan out. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan going forward. I know this has basically just been a Life is Feudal channel for the last couple months, and I want... It's not that we haven't had other series running, but I want to kind of get away from... Not get away from Life is Feudal, but get away from just having kind of one flavor. There's plenty of games I play. It'd be good to put them up. It'd be good, you know, have a... Like, for example, one thing I really like to do on Twitch is I have a couple friends. I got one friend who plays Rainbow Six Siege, and I really like playing that with him. I like playing Rainbow Six Siege. It's what I do on my free time most of the time. And I really enjoy that. So that's fun, and it's something I like to play, so you'd think, okay, well, stream it then. And I do, occasionally, but it's not something that ever... No one watches, to be blunt, because it's one of those games that, like, if you're watching it, you probably want to watch someone who's particularly good at it, and I'm not particularly good at anything. Or you want to watch someone who you already watch, because there's so many people. You're not going to get, as a streamer, you're not going to get any kind of discovery or new viewership through games like that, because they're too popular. You're at the bottom of a huge list, and you're going to stay there, because how could you not? So it's tough to stream that kind of thing, but if it can make it to YouTube, maybe that's a different story. The trade-off there is recording it and streaming it at the same time causes lag. It gets choppy in-game. Not like the internet portion of that's fine. It's just there's lag on the computer a little bit. For whatever reason, streaming and recording at the same time is difficult. So generally, best case scenario, I wind up with 720p downloaded from Twitch, and everything else I do is 1080p. So I gotta kind of mentally get over that and say, like, you know what, it's fine. If it's not gonna be 1080p, whatever, get over it. I just wish it would be 1080p, so everything would be 1080p, you know. Overwatch is the same way. I have a friend that... Karen plays Overwatch too, but we have a mutual friend who plays Overwatch, and you always enjoy it. You know, it's fun to play and talk with him, and there's always good conversation, so stuff like that doesn't necessarily do very well on Twitch. If I can put it up on YouTube, there's a little bit more of a justification to do that and kind of have some nice banter going back and forth and talk, because, you know, sometimes it's nice to listen to a conversation, listen to multiple viewpoints kind of interacting with each other instead of just listening to one guy talk, which is what you get a lot of the time on YouTube. Group stuff is fun. That's the general idea here. I think I probably have... No, we should get more flax. So we're under 10k right now, so... Trying to get those early harvests going in order to maximize the second harvest that we will hopefully get. And yeah, there's other stuff too. Oh good, this is done. There's other stuff too, like I've talked about how I want to try to start looking at maybe doing videos on mods for Life is Feudal. That one is very it's a bit tougher because you're really talking about it's a different animal, I guess. Like getting repeat, like basically there's probably not enough mods to really go through that too much. And there's probably not enough, like how do you make a video about, hey, this mod changes the balance for food? What do you do? You just say, well, it makes it easier to get food. I think that's blah, whether it's good or bad. And then what? You know, it's hard for me to understand where that like, I could definitely understand the value of doing like one video where you say, look, here are some good mods. These are the ones that I would recommend if you want to take a look. Here's what they do and how it impacts the game. Great. That kind of thing is easy, but that's one video, and that's a lot of work to put into one video. The perk of doing Let's Play stuff like this is really, you putting up a 20-minute video, it's 20 minutes of work, more or less. With a mod thing, it's a lot more work, so I don't know. Typically I think it gets more views too, but I don't know. It's something that I need to think about, because it's significantly different from what I do now, and I don't know. It's complicated, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, doesn't mean I shouldn't just do it, but, you know, gotta kind of figure it out. Figure out how I feel about it. And execute or not. But it's another opportunity, another avenue for content that I'm sure some of you would very much like to see. It's something I think I've gotten some requests to do stuff like that. I get it, believe me. I absolutely understand it. Another part of it is I virtually I never mod games like this. I just don't. For whatever reason, very few of them add. Basically, the way that I look at it, unless it's adding more content, I'm sort of like, well, why would I care? Why, like, the developer decided that you should have to struggle a certain amount to get food, and it works. You can play the game. You have a stable village. It's not like the food situation is so brutally out of control that it's unplayable. So, you know, so really it comes down to content. That's kind of it. And if there's nothing that really adds content, like, shit, there was one for Banished, and even this one I didn't play. There was one for Banished that added, like, it added, like, a ton of new buildings and all kinds of stuff. It was like an expansion almost. I never even played that. I almost never mod anything. The only exceptions are, like, I think Mountain Blade, Warband I modded. Skyrim has some stuff that's worth modding, but I usually just do graphical stuff. That's a really good mod community, though. Seeing what you can do with Skyrim is insane. I really look forward to whatever the next Elder Scrolls is going to be. I wish they would, like... It'd be really cool if, like, as part of... No, they wouldn't be able to do it. I was gonna say they could, like, kind of put the areas from the old Elder Scrolls games, like, the next one would have Skyrim and everything in it. Morrowind, Oblivion. But that's not how it works at all. Right? You can't, like, there are different time periods and everything. You wouldn't be able to do that. But one of the big things with Skyrim that bothered me was, like, you're kind of really looking at one kind of area. Apparently... Yeah, okay, that's not really surprising. I think we can save these, though. Because the wells are right there. We'll be okay, I hope. We'll watch this for a minute. But you really only do... Like, it's like the Star Wars thing, right? How do you have a planet that's nothing but desert? How do you have a planet that's nothing but snow? Like... It's very monotone after a while. And, you know, I know, yes, there's different areas in Skyrim. This sucks, by the way. Like, until stuff burns down, it's not gonna... This sucks, man. I wish this... See, I would want to rebalance this, because this is stupid. Because it's so unwinnable, because the fire spreads so readily. You can't win. It's infuriating. Even though the wells are right there, even though they probably put out some of these like 4 times, there's nothing you can actually do. So I guess I should rethink the way I'm positioning these, maybe? I don't know. It's very annoying though. Anyway, like, I know there's different areas in Skyrim. I know there's snowy areas that are glacial and have frozen stuff, and then there's areas that are more temperate, but they're still very much northern foresty kind of terrain. And I know you have the underground stuff and everything, and it's fine. There's variety. I'm not saying there isn't variety. I'm just saying, like, I get really itchy when they say they're gonna do something like... I want there to be kind of like at least 5 or 6 really significantly distinct biomes with different stuff going on. I don't want it to just be, hey, this is the ice Elder Scrolls. This is the snowy one. Because we don't get them that often. I really want to have like a tremendous amount of variety in them. But, I don't know. Can't always get what you want, as they say. But then, you know, maybe again, that's what mods are for. But yeah, there's no way they could ever, like, remake all of their previous games in the new engine every time. That would never... They'd sell copies, but they're already selling copies, so who cares? Why would they give a damn? They're already making bank. Anyway. Well, I think with that, it is time to end this episode, as we've lost, like, all of the kilns over here, which is absolutely insane. I hate that. It's really frustrating. I'm gonna have to rethink how I have that set up. But that will be for next time. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you'll join us for the next one as well. If you did enjoy it, feel free to come by twitch.tv/electronicmoose. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. PST, 9 to 11 p.m. EST. Check out the stream if you like. If not, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.